Hello, I'm Matthieu, the Chief Digital Officer of Bpifrance. Very happy to be there with our French Fintech champion this year, part of this second delegation to the Singapore Fintech Festival. This year, I would like to say that our champions will really fit to the big stakes that are in place in Asia. I would like to share 3 points of view on what's going on over there and how they can answer to that. First, we have 50% of South Asian population which is underbanked. There is a strong need for digital banking and digital lending. And this is where we'll see with a company, with fintech like YOUNITED, can tackle this stake. Second trend, very important, with the Hong Kong financial instability and political instability in Hong Kong, we see a flow of investment assets to Singapore and a strong need for solution to automatize, to deliver compliance to those funds and get operation and efficiency on their model. This is where we'll see with Miroslav and Fortia solution can bring a strong solution to Singapore funds. Then a third trend, very important, is the rise of crypto assets and the rise of cryptocurrencies. The ASEAN area is the first area in the world in terms of volumes, in terms of transactions, in terms of dynamism on crypto assets. And this is where you have companies like Ledger with Amandine and companies like LGO, we'll see at the end of the panel, which can tackle the operations and the challenges of the crypto market. So please let me introduce our panelists. And the first question I would like to ask to them, starting by Amandine, is how much unique they are and what is the value proposition to the ASEAN market. Amandine, please share with us.
So thank you very much for having Ledger on this panel. We're really happy to be here. So I think if I have to summarize what makes Ledger unique, the first is that even if we are at the very beginning of our journey, Ledger is a small company, it's a startup as we call them, we are already super international. As we will see later on, Ledger is already present in three continents. And we are not a big company, but still we felt the need, and it has called us, that we needed to be beyond France and beyond Europe. I think the second thing that is unique in the value proposition for Ledger is that we are a mix, as we've said already many times this morning, between tradition and innovation. When you want to stake your crypto asset, what we've done is that we've brought the smart card, which is a French invention, to the crypto world. So we have used what has been created in France and which has been so popular, the smart card that you have on your Visa card. We have brought it to the very, very innovative world of crypto assets. We secure digital assets thanks to a hardware. Where everything is digitalized, we use a hardware and we sell a hardware. And the value proposition is liked because we are the first to be certified by the cybersecurity agency, the ANSI. We are the only device being secured by a cybersecurity agency. So it means that this mix of tradition and innovation can bring people which are not crypto, which are not in this world. They can be brought to this world because we give them the security that they need to enter this very specific world. So I think that's the two value proposition of Ledger.
Thank you, Amandine. if we switch to Miroslav, can you introduce yourself and tell us why Fortia is unique and should be used by Singapore France?
Thank you. I'm Miroslav. I'm a co-founder and head of innovation at Fortia. So what is unique about us, about Fortia, is that we have created a augmented technology that allows companies use artificial intelligence to automate complex processes. So how we do this? This is done through a no-code platform that does not require to be expert in machine learning or be expert in software. And we apply this into the investment management and security services business. So our clients use this platform to automate and transform regulatory documents into data and then apply automated compliance verifications on this. We do this with now for more than 10,000 funds and more than 1 million regulatory documents. So thank you.
Thank you, Miroslav. Let's switch to digital lending. And Geoffroy, can you tell us what makes the value proposition of YOUNITED unique and how you can partner with Singapore ecosystem?
Thank you, Matthieu. Just a few words about the company. I co-founded it in 2009. We launched in 2012 as an online lending platform across Europe. And we've transformed the business, extended the business over the last years to a full credit and payment software as a service platform. A few figures about the company. So we have raised $200 million. We have a staff of 370. We are part of the next 40. And we are one of the roughly 20 fintechs at the European level which obtained a full credit institution license. So that was about the company. But to answer your question about what makes us unique, I think it's the fact that we've proven both the scalability and efficiency of our platform for our own banking operations. So to be specific, we have originated 2.5 billion euro in loans in 5 geographies across Europe over the last 8 years. And now this platform is accessible to third parties. Basically, two kinds of B2B partners come to us. The first one is banks or global financial institutions wanting to launch an online lending platform. It can be consumer lending, it can be small and business lending, it can be mortgage. And on the other hand, we have big merchants, retailers, telco, payment service providers that want to offer their customer a new way to pay a product. It's more or less a buy now, pay later solution. And when they come to us, what makes us unique is the fact that we have tested this over the last 8 years for our own business operations. So no need to make a proof of concept. No need to test and experiment. It's already live. It's been live for 8 years. And it's in a few weeks, and not in a few years, accessible to that kind of players. And that is truly unique. Then the value proposition is very, very quick time to market. So in less than a month, we can enable search partners to launch a new business value proposition. Then leading the way data, we use data, and especially thanks to PSD2 in Europe, banking history data, to underwrite loans. And then the last thing of the value proposition is it's kind of a full stack banking as a service. So not only the technologies, but also the license, the staff, and of course the experience in data monitoring and risk modeling that we offer to third parties.
Thank you, Geoffroy. There is a common point with these 3 subjects and 3 financial challenges. This is the data, because financial data are absolutely key to deliver digital banking, to make compliance, and around crypto analytics. So I would like to, Annie, that you share what's the unique proposition, what is Saagie, and what's the unique proposition for financial institution?
Yeah, Good morning, good evening in Singapore. We have quite a different proposition, and essentially Saagie is a platform for data engineers. And that means that we make it really easy for them to bring together very complex technologies, data technologies, to deliver and run data projects. So essentially, it enables them to build the infrastructure for a data project in a fraction of the normal time, and to maintain it really easily once it's up and running. So why is this important? Essentially because there are still today a number of many companies that are sitting on vast amounts of data that they're not creating any value from at all, and that need help to build these data projects. So a lot of the bigger companies hire data teams and put them in place, but actually data projects remain very complex to put in place because it involves a lot of people across the organization, and it just takes a long time. So this is where the data engineer comes in. He or she is a member of the data team, and basically the platform that we've created just enables them to get it running quickly. When it comes to financial institutions, successful data projects enable banks, insurance companies to better know their customers, to recommend more relevant products, to automate claims processes, that kind of thing. And it really, successful data projects do play a really big part in this particular sector because of the high levels of regulation, and it's a very competitive environment.
Thank you, Annie. I would like with all of you focus on your international execution, because in the past probably French companies could suffer from less international exposition and ability to execute, which is absolutely not the case for you, because you are really deeply international. So if I start with you, Amandine, you have delivered 2 million wallets around the world. So can you tell us a few more insights on your international expansion and exposition?
Yeah, so I think to answer this question, we have to differentiate between our B2C and our B2B offer. So our B2C is this wallet that maybe people know. Well, if you have cryptos, you'd better. This has been sold in 165 countries. So we have been international from day one. I mean, if you sell a device online, you run an international business from day one. So for the B2C, that was it. For B2B, which is more or less the same structure, but when you want to custody crypto asset on behalf of third parties, so what banks would do if they store cryptos for third parties, here we had to find some partnership. And the one that we found is actually a bank in Japan called Nomura, with which we have a partnership to bring the first big custodian for crypto assets on the market. Of course, thinking about international and the dynamic of the financial innovation, Singapore came very well on top of the list. And this is why we opened last year our third office in Singapore, where we have 4 employees. So running our business for all Asia from Singapore, in Singapore and from Singapore. So that was a key expansion for us, and some more to come. But
fantastic. Miroslav, 10,000 phones are using Fortia. So it's big, it's huge. So can you tell us about your international exposition?
Yeah, with pleasure. So let's say that our expansion started 4 years ago, not far away from here, Palais Brongniart at the Grand Boulevard at the Bpifrance Paribas Innovation Lab. And I think that it was a very successful partnership between Fortia, a startup company at the time, and BNP Paribas, a worldwide group having a worldwide presence. And so that's how all it started. And BNP Paribas was very interested in our artificial intelligence technology, and so we deployed this into 12 different locations and automated more than 8 core processes, including compliance, of course, a huge process. And now, let's say the next step of our expansion was throughout Europe, European major hubs as Dublin, as Luxembourg, Malta. We work with leading depository banks using our technologies. And the next step for our development is the US and, of course, Asia. We're talking about Asia, where we're open subsidiaries next year, and also we'll work very closely with consulting companies to distribute our platform.
Great. And Singapore is close to Switzerland, and Switzerland, you have great experience working with funds.
Yes,
in
correct.
Switzerland. Geoffroy, you had a fantastic year in terms of European development. So can you tell us about your growth today on the international scene?
Yeah, today we are truly a European company. So 30 to 40% of our business is made out of France on consumer lending. We launched in 2012 in France, and since 2016 extended to other geographies. So now we cover 5 countries in Europe with 265 million customers, so quite a large market. But on top of this, what is really driving international growth is large B2B partnerships with global players. So in 2019, we won quite a significant deal with HSBC. And in 2020, we signed 2 very large big tech customers, so 2 of the 5 GAFAMs. One of them is Microsoft, so we help Microsoft to sell its Xbox across Europe in a kind of affordability program, so buy now, pay later. And another one is coming and will be disclosed soon. And clearly, partnering with those big techs is going to significantly increase our international exposure.
It's massive that big tech companies like Microsoft choose YOUNITED instead of CTLM or it's BNP or Société Générale Solutions. So it's really huge. Congratulations. Annie, on the Saagie side, I think that you work with 40 financial institutions on the world. So it's really you're really providing solution to full range of institutions.
Yeah, that's right. On our side, in terms of international expansion, we completed our Series B funding round in June and raised 25 million euros. It was led by our CEO, Guigou. And a big part of the strategic direction that we're taking post-fundraising is international expansion. And basically, what we know is that last year was a record year, 2019 was a record year in terms of spending for data infrastructure with $66 billion, and that Asian markets are a big chunk of that. Essentially, right now, our offer is commercially available in France and in the US, but we are definitely looking at a number of different Asian markets to expand in 2021. And obviously kind of relying on this kind of platform as well to be able to propel us in that direction. And in fact, Bpifrance helped us to penetrate the market in the US as well a couple of years ago, and as part of a 3-month program, meet the right people, really understand the local needs there in comparison to the French companies that we already worked with, and it was hugely helpful.
You settled down on an agency, subsidiary, in New York, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. We have a team of sales and pre-sales in New York. That's right.
So really impressive, this international execution of our champions. I'd like now to zoom on what has been very specific this year, because it's a dramatic year for population with the COVID crisis. It's a fantastic opportunity for digital companies like fintech companies. So what are the key lessons, any market, new market fits, new market segments, or simply very, very huge acceleration of your business because of the COVID crisis? Amandine, can you?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So, because we didn't have any shops to close, you know, the lockdown from one day to the other was just like the offices were closed for us. The distribution of our product was still working. We had to adapt on the B2B side because we used to travel to do the onboarding of our clients. So we had to do online onboardings. But aside from that, I think what we've learned during this crisis is how important it was to be together despite the fact that we were separated. because we couldn't meet with the team. So I think the human aspect of our company was super strong. And our HR did a great job, you know, to organize as if we were together, even if we are in New York, in Singapore, and in Paris. I think what we learned also is that you need to be flexible and to adapt the way you work. So this online onboarding was a testimony that a witness that we could. And I think the last thing that we learned is that we could rely on a strong distribution channel for our B2C products. We, I mean, from Vierzon, where we produce, to Singapore, we could still ship, you know, our product. So, so that was a key learning, that to have a strong distribution channel that can scale whatever is happening. I think that was something we were super happy to have. And I think the last thing to mention is that resilience has been a core value during this whole process. There are things you cannot fight, so you just have to live with it and to adapt. And if resilience was not part of our core value back in 2019, it's definitely in our core value in 2020.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Specifically because you are well, digital, but you have this hardware part of your business, which was obviously very impacted, and you needed to be very efficient on that.
Yes, sure. And what we've seen is that we had new investors coming to the Bitcoin market, to the crypto market, because I think in a crisis where you're just sitting behind your screen, you know, you're always looking for some new investment that you can make. So I have to say that the COVID has been has had a positive impact on our business, so which can help now grow the company and you know, and have some more people joining and being in a growing phase despite this this terrible disease.
Thanks. Miroslav, what on your side of your business, what do you see of this? What you can you share as a specific insight?
Yeah, so COVID is a crisis, you name it, and we see it's a benefit for the high-tech industry because within this crisis, we see there is an urgent need for digitalization. People are working remotely. For more automation is required. So what we see is that companies that were postponing their digital transformation from year to year, now it comes, you know, a moment where maybe it's time to invest more into this. And so, yeah, it's an opportunity. And also, we can do a parallel with crisis in general, because, for example, the last big crisis, which was the subprime crisis, was also a big accelerator, especially in our pace, for regulatory technology, as we have seen that after the subprime crisis, there were many, many new regulations, which then required companies to invest in new type of technologies to cope with these new realities. So I think that COVID now will create new realities for us, and then we'll have to adapt this to it, and it will, it will be for a benefit for the development of technologies.
Thank you, Miroslav. Geoffroy, on your side, it sounds that the year 2020 was really good for B2B business.
Yes, indeed. In 2020, we had a growth of 40 to 50% of originated volumes versus 2019. At group level. And this was mainly driven by successes of YOUNITED Business Solution. This entity accounted for 1% of revenues in 2018, and it will be more than 30% next year. But on top of that, we discovered, thanks to COVID, if I may say so, that our technologies designed for consumer lending could be applied to SMB lending. We built scalable technologies. And when governments and public banks and large banks decided to sustain the economy lending to small businesses, they had no other choices than thinking of how can I automatize, how can I industrialize, how can I scale my lending platform. And so we had several demands and large partnership also with Bpifrance. And we entered the SMB lending space. And in 2020, SMB lending will account for 20 to 30% of our volumes at group level. Whereas over the last 8 years, we had only done consumer lending. So an illustration that COVID extended clearly our business and demonstrated that technologies we have built can have several other applications than what we initially thought.
I believe that you reach something like more than 2 billions.
Yeah, we had originated 2 billion euro on consumer lending in Europe, and on SMB lending we are targeting 1 additional billion euro in only 18 months. So until the end of next year. So clearly a big step.
Big scalability. Annie, what are the lessons for Saagie on during this COVID period? Would you have some specific insights?
Yeah, I mean, I see this on 3 different levels. The first is from a business perspective, we feel pretty lucky to be a data player. I think there are an awful lot of people that have really suffered from the health crisis, and Miroslav mentioned it earlier that digital transformation was already something we've been talking about for a long time, but there's bound to be an acceleration, and you know, we see ourselves as having an important role in helping companies transition through this. So that's from the business side of things. From a marketing perspective, because I'm CMO, we need to be even more results-focused, laser-focused on results, smarter with the budget, and more digital than we ever were before. And then from a people perspective, I think it's about accepting that these are not normal times. It's actually quite complex to manage a team. Like, we're very, very used to working remotely within the company, but actually it's a complex time for everybody involved, and that the well-being of our employees is an absolute priority for the company, and that we need to adapt our leadership style according to that.
I have an accurate question on how many nationalities are working within your teams. It's interesting to share your as a KPI of your internationalization. Could you share that?
Well, I don't have the data with me, but as I said, I mean, being in the US and in Singapore, we already have a great portion of people coming from all over the world. And actually, we also have 2 people are going to join in Jan, and they are from abroad also. We do our meetings in English. So I would say we are really, really international already.
Yeah, I think that we are an international company. For example, at Fortia we have a data science team from many different nationalities. We are present in many different events all around the world, and also Paris is an international place. Our headquarters are in Paris, but we also work with people all around the world. So I think it's part of our culture as well.
Yeah, on our side, like 40% of the staff is non-French, so quite almost a balanced mix between French and non-French staff.
We're pretty French. I'm the exception. I mean, there are other exceptions, but yeah, I think we're French with lots of different backgrounds within that group, and then also with the fact that we have an office in the US too. I mean, it's a very international environment, despite that. And as Amandine was saying, everything gets done in English, so yeah, it's pretty international.
Well, now what I would like to propose to you is that really, if you have a key message to the Asian audience and the Singapore festival population, what would you like to conclude? Because we will have your conclusion and a video from the 5th company who could not attend because they're based in New York and because of the COVID, it was complex to come to Paris. There was some family restrictions, so we'll have this video at the end. So before, I'm really interested to have a specific message you would like to share with the audience, each one of you.
Yeah, I can start. So Singapore is on the top of our list for in terms of sales. So I would just carry on, and I hope the Asian market is going to be even more dynamic regarding crypto assets, if it can be, because it's one of the top, really of the top region for this.
On our side, Fortia, we already attended the Fintech festival in Singapore 2 years ago, and we're really impressed. But it was really an amazing event for us to participate there, and also we think that not only Asia but also the ASEAN countries community is also very dynamic, and there is a great spirit of innovation there. There is a lot we can learn also from each other, not only in terms of opportunities for us, but also to learn and to participate into this very dynamic field. So yes, we think Singapore is definitely the place to be for us for our expansion in Asia. And maybe something personal I wanted to add here is that my wife is Hong Kongese, and so I have this personal attachment to Asia. And I very recently became a dad of a sweet little girl named Sydney. So just happy to share this with you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Miroslav.
On a personal side, I'm waiting for my 5th children, so I will have quite a busy winter. So think about me. No, just the fact that we are coming back this year to the Singapore FinTech Festival for the 2nd time in a row is just a proof that it's critical to our business growth. But rather just to share my experience about being a FinTech entrepreneur for now 10 years, a small piece of advice to FinTech entrepreneurs, you have to think long term. I mean, we are talking about money, we are talking about regulation, we are talking about trust. Either if you're doing B2C or B2B, more than any other field in technology, FinTech is a field in which you need to think like 10 to 20 years project. You're not building companies to sell them after a few years. We are challenging big players, to the banks and tech giants, of course, entering more and more the fields of financial services. And so you have to think long term. What does it mean? It means choosing long-term shareholders, finding partners with whom you can work not only for a few years but for 5 to 10 years. And I think it's a key to success in that industry.
Yeah, so I think I'd like to start just by mentioning a McKinsey report that came out last year that revealed that high-performing companies, the ones that had been interviewed as part of the report, say that data and analytics projects contribute to at least 20% of their earnings and have done over the 3 previous years, which is a pretty strong figure. And I think that the message I would want to send is that we are available to work with any business that wants to create value from their data by providing the platform. And that need rapid results, and we have teams in place that can get a proof of concept up and running really quickly. And because we work with the major cloud providers, we can do that anywhere in the world.
Interesting. I'd like to rebound on that, and especially for the three of you on the data, on AI part of your business, because it's absolutely key for digital lending, for compliance, for crypto. So would you like to how you tackle that? What's your investment in data analytics and on that kind of technology, on AI?
Well, on our side, data is clearly transforming the business. Europe is more advanced than the US and in Asia in one field. In banking, it's sharing the bank history, so what we call PSD2, Second Payment Service Directive. So it's a revolution because now customers can share their bank history with a third partner throughout the onboarding of a financial services. So when a European customer requests a loan on our platform, we ask them to share their bank history. 60 to 90% of them do this. And now we have gathered billions of bank history data points and building new generation scoring models to leverage all those data. So just to give an illustration on how it transforms the industry in Europe, and those technologies we've built clearly will interest several big players in Asia and in Singapore, where open banking is ahead, and we are a bit in advance in Europe. So it's something that we can bring to Singapore and Asian countries.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so I think at Ledger, our promise is that you're empowered with your own financial data, because we don't store the financial data in the crypto at Ledger. So meaning that we would like people to take back something that they have given up, we believe in the past, is to own their own financial data. So this is, we don't use data as the way we think about it, because we don't own them, but we use data in the way our promise that you're going to take this back. And our first advertising was take back control for real. When there was a Brexit, it was in London, and I think this is where we come from.
And you have also obviously the challenge of protecting those data, because
yes, indeed. We give them to you, but then we need to give you the wallet that actually helps you secure it. So, so far so good. And because I think we are certified by the Cybersecurity French agency, it gives a promise, because it's not only us saying we are secure, it's somebody who said it based on criteria which are super high level. So, yeah, we give you data, but together with it, we give you the way to protect it.
Miroslav, I think AI is important for you.
Of course, and data is a big challenge, and one of the challenges that we see is, we deal with a lot of unstructured data, and what is key there is to have the right level of standardization and to achieve higher quality of data, because whenever you have to automate a lot of processes for complex products where, you have operations in different locations, you have clients in different locations. So there is more and more standardization required to identify an asset in the same way and share it between people in different countries, to define a fund in the same way, and share a document and define an information in the same way using a standard. So these are things that we can achieve, of course, with artificial intelligence to process higher volumes of unstructured data and find the right data with the best possible quality to run compliance unit or regulatory reporting or any other process which is critical to your company.
Thank you, the four of you. I would like to share the video now from our fifth panelist, which is LGO. LGO is another crypto asset player. They handle billions of transactions on crypto, so it's really interesting. And we'll have Hugo Renaudin sharing a few insights on the company.
Hi everyone, my name is Hugo Renaudin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of LGO Group. I'm sorry I'm not able to make it in real life with you. I'm based in New York, so that makes it a bit difficult for me to be at the Palais Brongniart for this panel. But thank you very much for the opportunity to present LGO. I'll try to give you in a few minutes an overview of our business at LGO Group, what we do, why we're so close to Asia in our business, and why we chose France as the place to headquarter our international business. So very quickly, LGO Group, we're the largest digital asset exchange for institutions based out of Europe. So we have a lot of clients that are hedge funds, asset managers, banks, companies that buy and sell digital assets, things like cryptocurrencies, stable coins, Bitcoin, and like these kinds of assets. So they can buy it on our platform in a safe and compliant setup, which is really similar to what you have in the traditional capital markets. So that's our business. We have something like 60 institutional clients. We've processed several billion dollars of transactions. Something which is as well key in how we developed the company is that we're based out of New York and Bordeaux. So we have two teams, a team in the US, a team in France. We don't have yet a team in Asia, but we're very closely connected to Asia, as I'm going to explain you a bit later. And we started the company being the largest issuer of an ICO in France. So we did an ICO in 2018 actually, over the course of which we raised close to 20 million euros. And it was it's still the biggest ICO in France to date. And we did it in compliance. So that's about us. Lastly, we're proud holder of PSAN registration. So PSAN is this new framework which was created by the AMF that aims at regulating cryptocurrency companies out of France. So we were one of the first companies to get that, and it was very important in our business because being an institutional focused business, having the oversight of a regulator like the AMF is a very strong added value. And we're a proud member of the French Tech 120 as well. So that's about LGO. Now Asia, the reason why we're so close to Asia, it's just because the way the cryptocurrency industry is made. So historically, there's always been a lot of clients and a lot of people in Asia interested in this space, which means that there's two hubs that developed in the last few years, one hub in Hong Kong and one hub in Singapore with a lot of talent, with a lot of companies, with a lot of capital. Our biggest clients are from Asia, or based out of Singapore, actually. So we obviously, just with our business, we have a very strong link to Asia. And it's this relationship is very important to grow our business as well. Last but not least, the reason why we chose France, and it's not just because I'm French and my co-founders are French. It was part of a very well thought out process. So we're an international company. We have international clients. Actually, most of our clients are non-French. And most of them are based between the US and between Asia. So being an international business, it was important for us to find a jurisdiction out of which to operate that was strong from a regulatory perspective, that inspired confidence, and that was ready to accompany the growth of the digital asset ecosystem. And so what we saw in France was exactly that. We saw a new regulatory framework, the PSN framework. We saw a willingness of the government and of the institutions to kind of lead the innovation in this space with, for instance, a digital euro project from Banque de France. And that's exactly why we chose to be in France. And so far, we don't regret it. So that's it. That's about LGO. That's about Asia. That's about France. I hope I made it short and concise. And thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, BPI, for organizing, and see you soon.
Thank you, Hugo, for sharing sharing a few insights on LGO and Voyager. So we're now concluding the panel. I hope you enjoy our champions this year. We are very proud of them, and we Bpifrance will obviously support them on their growth and execution international next year, and we can announce that we will be back in 2021 for the next festival, and I hope physically in Singapore. Thank you very much.